I think a lot of people overlook the atmosphere and the brilliance, really, in this game entirely. Whether it's the story, the characters, the setting, meaning location and time period, and like I said, the atmosphere. Especially because of Red Dead 2 being so successful, so large, so ambitious, so, well, it's quite new. I don't want to say it's so new, but it is quite new. And that game just was perfect, in my opinion. 10 out of 10, one of the best pieces of media ever made. And so I and a lot of people, well, I don't think like this now, but a lot of people I know who played Red Dead 2, who loved it and are fans of Rockstar in general, when I asked them about playing this game, Red Dead Redemption 1, they said, oh, well, you know, it's cool, there's some cool things about it, but it just doesn't feel or hold the same candle like Red Dead 2. And for a little bit of time, I did agree with that. I thought, oh, you know, it is a bit lacking maybe in some ways compared to Red Dead 2. But because of the reasons I stated earlier, like it being a newer game, more ambitious, bigger story, generally a bigger story, it's only natural that people would think that. But now I've come to realize that this game holds a very special, intriguing vibe that you don't really feel as much in Red Dead 2 or really any other game, at least no other game that I've played. And that is that you, like John Marston, are isolated and you feel a bit odd and out of your comfort zone and barren because John is being sent on this mission that he's reluctant to be a part of. And he has to do it, otherwise he doesn't get to see his family and restart his life. And so if he does the mission, he thinks, okay, you know, I'll get all these things back and I'll be able to live the life that I want to live. But he's being sent to kill all of his old gang members that he can find. And that is a pretty sad, not very nice story. If you're John Marston, that is. And so the game perfectly makes you feel for John as you are put in the same position as he is. Naturally, you're playing a game where he is the main character. But the world has this sort of odd, empty, barren feeling as well. Though I've come to realize that it isn't the game just being barren and empty, but it's just that's the vibe that it gives off. And so to a point I can understand why people feel that way. But what I have done that they have not is understood the importance of that and why it works so perfectly for this game. Red Dead 2 is a story about Arthur and the gang, the Van der gang, breaking up and falling apart and disbanding, basically. And you follow Arthur and then eventually John. Whereas this game, you're dealing with the aftermath of that whole Van der gang situation. And of course, like I said, you are being sent on this journey reluctantly. And why it works so well within the setting and the time period is that it also is the edge or the end of the whole outlaw cowboy era. And so of course the world is going to feel a bit empty and barren and like you've been left behind in a place that doesn't want you anymore. That's exactly what it's meant to be like. That's exactly what it's meant to feel like. It's not meant to feel like the prime, the peak. I like to think of it a bit like a painting. Red Dead 2 is a very colourful, very obvious painting that has a clear story. You know what it's meant to be. You can see what it's about. And you have an idea of what the artist was thinking or what the artist wants you to think about this piece of art. And then Red Dead 1 is a bit more of a simplistic, so-called boring piece of art. Boring in the sense that there isn't much color, there isn't much going on the surface. But once you sit around and think about the painting, you then project your own thoughts and emotions and meaning onto that piece of art. And I think that's exactly the case here with Red Dead 1. I know I certainly have done that, especially when I got to Mexico. I noticed a lot of things that made me nostalgic, like the old Spanish colonial buildings. Reminds me of my granddad's house that he has in Spain. And the trees inside with the church also remind me of positive memories of me traveling to Spain for holidays as a young boy. Once I started to feel things like that, I realized, wow, this game is connecting with me, or I'm connecting with this game to a level that I maybe hadn't with Red Dead 2. Whereas with this game, you had to really put more energy and thought into it to really get all the benefits from it, or the nutrients, if you will. And I think people should do that with any aspect of life, especially if it's something creative. You should allow yourself to build more of a connection with something or someone, especially if it's a piece of art, because then you gain more value from it. It's more deep, it's more sincere. I don't think sincere is the right word, but I'm sure you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And I hope that you guys understand all of this little bit of waffle that I've been doing in this video. But I hope that you enjoyed it. I wonder if any of you felt the same way about this game or had a similar experience or revelation like I did. And I wonder if there's any other games or any other piece of media maybe, that made you think, wow, this is more interesting than I initially thought. I know I have for certain movies, like The Godfather. I thought, wow, this is quite a boring film when I first watched it. And then when I rewatched it, I realized, wow, this is cinematic masterpiece. How could I not have thought this was incredible the first time? So yeah, I don't really know what the moral of the story is. I guess it's just appreciating things more, or spending more time to appreciate something. I don't really know, but what I do know is that this game has an incredible ambience that I think has become more overlooked than it should. And yeah, that's really all I have to say, or anything that I can vomit out, basically, because this is all a bit of waffle, really, and it's a type of video I don't really do or haven't really done before. So let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's any way I can improve, or anything I can change, or anything I could add maybe, or if you thought it was a great piece of content, then let me know. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Keep blessed, and I hope to see you around next time. I'm still working on my John, but I think my Arthur might be a bit better. Well, I'm sure I'll see you next time. Oh yeah. Teach them about the art of anthropology. So stupid.